Okay, so before we kick this video off, I'd like for you guys to leave a comment below while you're watching the video on your best and worst RV, car, or truck shopping experience. Specifically the salesperson and how that salesperson treated you. Your best experience and your worst experience. It doesn't have to be in that order. Anyways, hang tight. I'll be right back. So over the years, I've received a lot of comments and emails from subscribers, viewers, and folks who have just come across my channel asking me if I sell RVs. Or sometimes they'll simply reach out after watching a video on an RV tour and they'll ask me, if it's still for sale or how they can get in touch with me because they'd love for me to show them that RV in person because they think that I work for a specific dealership. Well, I don't work for dealerships. I am not a salesperson, and what I do is purely because I enjoy doing it. That being said, I have advice for RV sales folks who are watching my videos because I think that there's a lot of folks out there who are looking for a different sales experience when they go shopping for something, especially something that's very expensive and that's expected to last them a long time, and that's also expected to be a recreational purchase. So I'm going to make this video today talking to the RV sales folks out there, explaining to you all what I believe people actually want in an RV salesperson. Okay, now I am not a certified sales trainer. I am not the type of person that would go out and, preach to a whole room full of RV sales reps trying to motivate them and get them super, pumped up about selling RVs and, going out there trying to crush it, make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and just sell whatever they can to whoever they can. That is not me. But what I do believe I'm pretty good at is communicating with people and trying to determine what somebody needs and then building a justification off of that need. Basically, understanding what somebody wants and asking good questions. So the point of this video is to talk to folks who work for RV dealerships and give them my advice on how I feel they can be a better salesperson. And again, this is simply my advice. It's my opinion. You don't have to follow it, but if you choose to, you might actually see some improvements, I believe. I could lay this out in a very organized fashion, and I'm probably not going to do it that way, but I could also say that we're going to do this step by step by step, and I'm also probably not going to do it that way. But what I will say is I believe that there are a series of things that sales reps can do to better connect with their buyer, their consumer, the shopper, and also build credibility as well as become a trusted advisor, right? Somebody who is viewed as a specialist in their field. I honestly believe any job you have is your craft, and you should take time to hone your craft. You should take time to become better at it. And as I walk around RV dealership lots, I run into really good sales reps and I run into some really bad sales reps. The really bad sales reps typically will come along, they're kind of pushy, they kind of force their way into your life. What I mean by that is you go out to an RV dealership lot or any kind of lot, I mean it could be buying a car or a pickup truck, and they come out and they feel as if it's their job to force their way into a conversation you may be having with your spouse or the walkthrough you're taking on a floor plan or around a vehicle. And I don't believe that that's really the right approach. There are some sales reps who come out and they'll simply say, hey, if you have any questions, I'm here to help you. Here's my card. Let me know. And I believe that's a better approach because it doesn't force your way into somebody's decision making. Because when you do that, you're ultimately trying to control the decision they make. And I know really, really good tenured sales reps will say that that's probably the goal, right? If you can make yourself the reason why somebody's buying the product, well, then obviously you're doing a really good thing. But I don't think that's necessarily the case. What I believe is that the best sales reps out there are sales reps who introduce themselves, let people know that they're there to answer questions, but then also kind of back off and give folks an opportunity to see a product, walk around it, kind of fall in love with it, see if it's the one for them. Because if you simply barge your way into a conversation, all you're doing is you're creating instant animosity. You're creating that salesman approach. And nobody wants to be sold something. They want to buy something. So whenever you work with a consumer or someone who's on the lot or someone who is looking to buy something, if they express interest and if they start asking questions, then that's really where you jump in. And that's where you should have honed your craft to be able to answer the questions they're asking. The worst thing I think a sales rep can do is to say, I don't know the answer to that, and not have a way of getting that answer. I think the worst thing a sales rep can also do is to not have an answer that's obvious about the product they're selling. Like, for instance, if I go to an RV dealership lot, somebody comes out and I say, hey, do you know what type of tires are on this RV? And they can't walk up to the tire and tell me the brand, the load rating, as well as if it's a good tire, if you recommend that you replace it after a few months, something like that. If they can't make that simple recommendation to me, and they have to go ask somebody, or they simply say, well, I'm not an tire expert, I don't know, then this may be the wrong job for them, right? They should understand their craft enough to know that tires are what connect the RV to the ground, and if you don't have knowledge on the tires that are on the RV, and even a recommendation of what you might want to do after getting the RV, then you're not really understanding your craft or your client. Because I think for the most part, people who are RV shopping are also wanting to have the safest possible experience they can have. And if I were selling RVs, I would have absolutely no problem saying, hey, these Trailmaster tires are probably good for a couple thousand miles, but I would definitely look at upgrading those as one of your first big upgrades. It's not going to cost you a heck of a lot, and it's going to give you a lot of peace of mind while you're on the road. But these should last you your first few camping trips, no problem at all. If you can't say that, and you can't explain, maybe your next tires you might want to go up a load rating, only because it's going to be able to handle a little bit more weight better. Oftentimes the RV manufacturers tend to cheap out in some areas, and that's one of the areas that they try to reduce cost. Again, I don't think that that's going to prevent anybody from buying an RV, but what I do believe it's going to do is it's going to make you, the sales rep, a trusted advisor. It's going to make the consumer believe that you have their best interests in mind and not your own. That's the challenge these days whenever you're buying anything, is you work with someone who you feel only cares about their commission check, or they only feel that they can sell you something that they have on their lot, and they're pushing that. And I believe honesty leads to credibility, and credibility leads to trust. And that's kind of the approach that I take when I do my videos. So again, another example might be you have someone come out on your lot and they're saying, okay, so we got a family of 4. What's the best floor plan? And they really don't have any direction on what type of RV they want to buy. A lot of folks will say, hey, let's just start walking through floor plans and seeing, if any particular one sticks out to you or appeals to you. But I don't even think that's the best approach, because what you're essentially doing is you're saying, this is all I have, walk through them and see if you like any of them. It's a really good kind of non-aggressive approach to showing an RV, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't express to your customer that you understand what their question really was. I have a family of 4, what's the best floor plan for our family? Diving into that further might be the best option, to basically say something like, well, I understand you have a family of 4, how old are your children? Or are they children? Are they all adults? How often do you go camping? How far do you go out camping? What type of tow vehicle do you have? What do you like to do when you're camping? Is it just a place to have some R&R, or is it a place to, really spend most of your trip? Start asking really good questions, because if you can lead that consumer to an RV or RVs that are on your lot that most appeal to them, as opposed to just randomly walking through a bunch of floor plans, I think, again, you become a trusted advisor. You become someone who that consumer sees as a credible source to understand what type of RV they may want to buy. And I say that because, I used to watch the TV show that people would go to RV dealership lots, and they'd, film the different RVs that they would walk through, and then they'd have to make a choice at the end. And I always thought that, they always threw in a couple RVs that just totally were the wrong floor plan. They just made no sense. You could clearly tell that the sales rep had no idea of how to actually probe and understand what a customer or consumer is looking for. And they made every single thing seem absolutely amazing about the RV. when in fact I think you build more credibility when you point out the things that in your opinion might be better than another unit or worse than another unit. And I think that's how you ultimately work with consumers. You talk to them about the things that matter to them. Deprioritize what matters to you. There's a lot of struggling sales reps out there that are on RV dealership lots that just aren't selling anything. And they might have some legitimate reasons. If you have absolutely no inventory and you can't order RVs and you simply have no way of getting an RV that is appealing to a consumer, well then yeah, you're going to struggle selling them. If you carry a good variety of RVs on your lot and you have various floor plans to accommodate different sizes of families as well as different quality levels of RVs with different features, then you shouldn't have any problem being honest and credible with a consumer whenever they are shopping for an RV. And the reason I say that is because you generally can figure out what are perks and negative aspects to any RV. And believe it or not, there's almost inevitably going to be more perks than negative aspects to RVs. You may be a Puma dealership and it's kind of a lower end RV. It's definitely not like a DRV. It's definitely not going to be a Riverstone or some of your super high end Jaycos. It's going to be an entry level stick and tin RV that isn't going to have a ton of crazy big upgrades, but it's still going to have someone who it appeals to. And the people who come on your dealership lot to look at those specific units are there because they have an expectation that that unit's going to be more affordable and it's going to fall into the price range and the size that they may be looking for. So it's your job to scope out why someone would come to your dealership in the first place. If you're not asking honest questions, if you're not trying to be honest with them, then they're going to know. People know when they're being sold to. People know when they're being told things that probably aren't true. In the times we live in where YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all of these are so popular and there's so many resources and forums for people to go to, if you tell them something that's not true, they're pretty quickly going to realize that you're trying to sell them something and you're doing it for yourself. That's what it comes down to. A good example of this is when we first got into RVing, we went to a dealership lot, and it was a local dealer, and they're no longer in business. The sales rep that was there showed us a few floor plans, and he essentially walked us through floor plans that he had available, even though he never actually asked us what type of RV we were looking for. All we knew is that we were looking for a travel trailer, and he had a lot of them. There were probably 150 of them on his lot. And he instantly kind of figured, hey, let's just start from one end and work our way down to the other end. Well, first of all, it was about 95 degrees outside, which means the RVs were ovens. They were just baking. And every RV that you walked through was miserable because you were so hot. Well, the first RV that we got to, we walk inside, and he starts bragging to us instantly about the king-size bed, that this is a travel trailer, and they fit a king-size bed inside of it because it's on a wide-body chassis. He never even asked us if we cared about a king-size bed. He never even asked us if it mattered to us. He started simply bragging about a manufacturing perk that specific manufacturer does, not even caring to know if we care about that feature. He didn't even ask us, do you prefer a king-size bed or a queen-size bed? We would have told him in a travel trailer a queen-size bed would have been perfect. But he instantly went to this perk because it was what he had available in front of him. And then we go into the living room. He starts talking to us about the quality of the RV, and he focuses a lot on that. But instantly, I'm looking around, and I'm not seeing a heck of a lot of quality. I'm looking around, I'm seeing, reasonably nice cabinetry. The sofa, love seat look really humdrum. The flooring looks like linoleum. Nothing special about this unit. It has a gas-electric refrigerator. Wasn't too familiar with them at the time. But he was basically saying, when you buy this product, you're almost guaranteed to not have any problems. And if you do, if you bring it back to us, we will take care of it. While he is saying this, a piece of crown molding trim falls off of the RV and literally hits him on the head. Not even joking with you. It falls off and hits him on the head. Now, if I fast forward many, many years, I know exactly why that happened. It was probably towed here from Indiana. It sat on the lot for an extended period of time in incredibly hot and then cold temperatures, mainly hot temperatures. expansion contraction of wood. The tacks that they used to hold it in probably slowly shimmied their way out. As people walk onto the RV, get off of the RV, that shaking and jostling, plus anytime they needed to do anything or move it, they hooked up to a forklift and they drug it around. All of that stuff led to that piece of trim eventually falling and hitting him on the head right when he is trying to tell us how well built this specific RV is. And we wanted to get some pricing. We came away with like 2 floor plans that we actually liked. At the end of the day, I think we toured like 8 different units. There were 2 floor plans that we thought we liked. Both were bunkhouse. One of them had a completely separate rear bunk area. The other one had kind of like a screen or a curtain that covered up the rear bunks. I think most people have seen these floor plans. I've shown a lot of them on my channel. But we wanted pricing on these 2. We go inside of the office, and he's writing pricing down, kind of ignoring us, not having a conversation with us, not talking to us, not even asking us what we liked about the RV. He just expected us to come up with the things that we liked about it without asking us any questions. It was kind of absurd, to be honest with you. He wasn't a consultant. He wasn't someone who was there to help guide us through the process in a non-pushy manner. Anyway, so we're sitting in his office, and he's kind of writing numbers down. And then after about 5 to 6 minutes of pure silence, me and my wife kind of whispering to each other, kind of wondering what he's doing, he lifts his head up and he says, okay, and I'm about to go over some pricing here. So this is way pre-COVID, way years ago. So he said, this first floor plan, the MSRP on this unit is $36,000. But you know what? I like you guys. I like you guys. Keep in mind, he's never done anything that expressed to us that he's liked us since we've been there. But he says he likes us. He goes, I'm going to go ahead and take $1,000 off of that price right there. And we're like, okay. And we hadn't been shopping around a lot at this point. So we didn't know exactly how big of a discount we should be getting off of the MSRP of this unit. We didn't think it was a good deal. And we certainly were going to shop around before we bought this unit at $1,000 below MSRP, which is a joke. And he puts the paper in front of us, and he puts an X, and he wants us to sign this purchase agreement. And we're like, no, we're going to shop around a little bit. I think that there's another dealership that we want to go take a look at more units. We're interested, but this isn't really a price range that we want to shop in at the moment. And it wasn't. It was above what we wanted to spend. So he actually looks at us, and he goes, oh, you don't trust me. He goes, okay, that's fine. He goes, yeah, shop around. He goes, but this deal's off the table if you leave my office. And I was blown away. My wife was like, she looks at me like, you can't be serious. I mean, what we had just gone through was almost traumatic in the sense that we were hoping no other dealership gave us that experience. That is not how you work with people. That's not how you consult with people. That's not how you talk to people. And because of that, we would never buy an RV from that dealership, ever. And they're no longer in business, but even if they were in business, I would never recommend anybody to go to that dealership because of that experience, that type of sales experience. And it's hard to believe that one salesperson can truly impact how you feel about an entire company. And the reason why I believe people feel that way is because you want to wonder what type of company would hire that type of salesperson. That's the question. At the end of the day, before we left that dealership, there was somebody else in the lobby, and they said, hey, this is the guy you want to buy from. He's going to tell you like it is. And I'm thinking, no, he told me what he thought I wanted to hear. He didn't tell me like it was. And that's the problem. Most of the time, as a salesperson, you care about yourself. You care about making a sale. You care about feeding your family. You care about paying your rent or your mortgage. You care about your car payment. That doesn't mean you care about the person shopping. And if you can't put your mind in the mindset of the person shopping, if you can't fathom the possibility that their money is your money, and that you need to think, if it were me, how would I spend my money, especially based off of the information I'm being told, do you truly want to deal with someone like that? Do you truly want to deal with someone who only cares about what they make at the end of the day, and they don't really have any passion for making people happy? They don't have any passion for selling people the right product and doing the right thing. And I ultimately believe that people buy from people. But not only do they buy from people, they buy from credible, knowledgeable, kind, honest people. That's who they buy from. And I believe if you follow those simple principles, you're going to be much more successful. You're going to sell a product that more people are going to want, that they'll go into with their eyes wide open. And at the end of the day, nothing's going to be perfect, right? No RV is perfect, but at least you've positioned your customer with the best possible chance of having a good experience. I think that's what matters. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, this one's really focused towards the folks that sell RV. I think that there needs to be a mindset shift. I think that people need to understand that you can be successful, credible, and honest all at the same time. And if you focus on that, you're going to be more successful because people will just want to deal with you. No one wants that cocky salesperson. No matter what anybody would tell you, no matter what, what any sales trainer might say, nobody wants a pushy, cocky salesperson. They want a friendly, polite, knowledgeable salesperson that really is in tune with what their needs are, the consumer's needs are. Anyways, guys, again, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment below on your best and worst RV shopping experience. Anyways, guys, I'll talk to you again very soon.